Hi! Welcome back to my channel! Today, we'll be discussing A Dominating Prince and His Naughty Habits by Owal. Before we get started, there will be spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled in this manga, go ahead and click off now. No worries, I'll catch you next time. For those of you left behind, let's go over some content warnings. There may be references to slut-shaming, exotic animal ownership, BDSM, sex work, non-consenting porn, servitude, child abandonment, extortion, dubious consent, boss and employee relationships, sexual assault, car accidents, blood, light blood play, human trafficking, and voyeurism, as these things do appear in the manga. But if that's okay with you, let's go and get started. Kadri was once an abandoned child in the Gulf state where he lives, but was adopted by Grandma Jeddah. Grandma Jeddah raised Kadri as her own, teaching him all of her recipes and cooking techniques, and as a result, he started helping her run her restaurant. Now he spends his evenings making his famous biryani while commanding the kitchen, living life to the fullest. However, his idyllic life goes a little off course when a wealthy man and relative to the king named Fatih comes by. Fatih wants to buy the restaurant so he can redevelop the area. While it would mean plenty of money for Grandma Jeddah and Kadri, they aren't willing to give up their precious restaurant. Since money doesn't seem to be enough to sway Kadri, Fatih recommends another method of negotiation: sex. Kadri, a virgin, is stunned, but is willing to do anything to keep his grandmother's restaurant open. So, he meets the wealthy Fatih and intends to take him up on his offer. But when Kadri tries to take the lead, Fatih laughs in his face. Fatih had no intention of being the bottom, but for a sweet virgin like Kadri, the great Fatih makes an exception. First off, the art in this is so cute. I really like Owl's art, and though it isn't perfect, it always has such great character to it, and this is no exception. Fatih in particular is such a treat to see. He is equally as handsome as he is beautiful and embodies sex in every way imaginable. His character is peak Owl art, and I recommend it for him alone. However, one thing that has always bothered me about Owl art is the ears. It gets better with every iteration of their art, but it's still not the best, with the farther of the two ears always jutting out in the most unnatural way. Admittedly, that is super nitpicky of me, but I felt compelled to mention it. Now, I adore Fatih. I mean, he's a switch, he's arrogant, and he's gorgeous, and he's definitely the best character in this manga. However, he isn't always that great of a dude. I love him pretty much anytime the focus is on him and his relationship with Kadri. But when his servants are in his sight, he seems to become a completely different person, and not in a good way. His introduction is especially cruel as he punishes his servant Robbie with sex and then forces his other servant Sadiq to also have sex with Robbie. I don't mind non-con or dubcon personally, but I know plenty of others do, so I wanted to be sure to bring this up for anyone who would be bothered by it. I was more bothered by the jarring character change we see in Fatih, but that's just me. While we're on the topic of the servants, I could have done with less of them. They do serve as a way of pushing Fatih and Kadri together, but their chemistry as a couple is extremely lacking. Robbie is a half-hearted tsundere type, while Sadiq seems like he has the personality of a block of wood, most of the time. He also does this cringy dueling move for Robbie's love, which is unfortunate more than funny or endearing. I loved that Robbie seemed to be a sub and masochist, but that was the extent of their interest as far as I'm concerned. As helpful sidekicks, they're great. Anything more and they overstay their welcome. Now, though the story in this is minimal, in favor of more sex since this is a single volume work, I really like what story there is. It's straightforward, with a man of the upper echelon looking to buy out a mom and pop shop for redevelopment. But it's a simple plot that really helps facilitate the relationship. When smut is a major focus of these shorter works, they try to put in a plot, but it's often far too complex for the length and ends up being a disappointment. Having a simple setup like this allows the focus to be on the relationship and, in turn, the smut, enhancing the quality of it all the way around. Sometimes simple is best, and this is a perfect example of such. With all that being said, I adore this. Besides the servant portions, every bit of this is right up my alley. Even considering the servant portions, I loved the rest so much that I can't help but call this a favorite. Fatih has to be one of my favorite characters of all time. He's just so unapologetically himself, bold and arrogant, delicate yet strong, and a savvy businessman on top of it all. I could read a million volumes featuring Fatih, and I have no doubt I would love every bit of it. I implore you to give this a shot for Fatih if nothing else. He's so worth it. So, have you read A Dominating Prince and His Naughty Habits? If so, what do you think? Do you agree with my assessment? Do you not? Let me know and comment below. Otherwise, I'll catch you next time. Bye!